Hey all, Taves here, back playing some more Planet Coaster 2, and I am back with the second episode of Pomola Park. I haven't quite settled on the name yet. I think it's going to be either Pomola Park or Pomola Valley, something like that. So if you've missed the first episode of this is my kind of, what am I calling this? I'm calling it an Alpine Adventure Park. So I haven't sort of decided on the budget for this. It's I think it's already fairly big budget, but I'm just gonna let it happen. I'm just gonna explore the game, let the creativity kind of run wild, all that sort of thing. It's a sort of Alpine themed, Alpine set park, and in the first episode we built the kind of start of the entrance building. This is a bit more of the entrance actually. This is the bit more of the sort of entrance plaza and the ticket entrance specifically. And so we're starting off with sort of a bit of a cover. This is something you see quite often in theme parks. And I will have to say, I caveat this now, if you are joining this series or you're someone that has recently subscribed, very much welcome. But I'm not particularly like a big theme park person, I have to say. I am definitely someone who loves to build in games like this. Loved Planet Zoo. Never particularly played Planet Coaster 1. Just a little bit. I didn't really discover it until quite late. So there's a little bit of me that's a little bit terrified about building coasters. I think I'm much more comfortable in building the flat rides and that sort of thing. Obviously, we will tackle the coasters. But yeah, the sort of thing that you're going to see in this episode, it's much more sort of familiar territory to me. So I'm starting off with this little kind of covered barrier entry, I guess this is called. So put some of the sort of the actual kind of entrance gates down. Thought it would be cool. It's one of those things that you like. We didn't get in Planet Zoo and we haven't got in Planet Coaster 2, but like actually kind of a mechanism for exiting. So thought I'd create my own little turnstile, implied turnstile. It's pretty simple. Just a little excuse to get some detail in, really. Generally speaking, that is my bag. If I see something that's like a little creative idea that it doesn't really matter how small it is, I'll just kind of go, yeah, let's spend an hour doing that. So that's what I ended up doing. Actually, it didn't take that long to do this. A nice way to get a sort of little message on there, but also have a sort of a point that the guest would push would just be put these little sign panels on with a little message. I think there's a couple of little messages that go on. Pretty simple. And obviously that the guest comes and pushes that and they're out of the zoo. It's one of those things, like it kind of would be cool for there to be more of a, I don't know, maybe it's wasted effort, but more of a kind of actual entrance mechanics, like go and get your tickets and go towards a gate and actually see guests interact with a gate rather than it just open. And obviously they all exit through exactly the same entry. So there's no I'm not jumping on the I'm not jumping on the negativity, because fair enough if you're disappointed by Planet Coaster 2. I'd imagine if you're watching a video about Planet Coaster 2, you're not in that camp. But there's obviously there's little things that just little details that you'd love to have, and I am all about the details, but also appreciate it's probably a bit wasted effort in some places. More effort on coasters and flumes and pools and stuff, I suppose, makes sense than that sort of detail. So yeah, wanted to use this as a little kind of opportunity to have a little kind of welcome message. So created this sort of doubled up font thing, which is a good way, if you've never seen that before, of making the font stand out a bit better. It's just to create your word, double it up, have a sort of border to it, so it's almost got a stroke effect around the outside of it. And then played around with some of these aquatic pieces. There's loads of really good pieces in the aquatic set that are just, and in the resort set that are just, actually I think this is probably from the resort set, that are just really good at multi-purpose pieces. So I played around with that for a while, and then I thought, actually, why not just use the little sign, the kind of logo that I'd created in the previous bit. This is a random jump, but at one point I was thinking about the gates in general, and thinking about the stuff that's like not in the game in terms of like ticketing and all that sort of stuff, and thought, well, I mean, there's no fast pass, right? So again, I'm not a massive theme park goer. I've been to a lot of I've been to quite a few over my period of my life, and I've been to some big ones. I've been to Disney, obviously. I've been to some of the big ones in America, but yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like, yeah, fast pass seems like a fairly major thing for theme parks. So I thought I would just at least imply. I don't know how far I'm going to go into this actually in the rest of the park. When we create the Helter Skelter, for example, I don't do it for that, but it's one of those things. It's like you wouldn't expect to have a fast pass for that. I guess it's probably one of those things that you expect to see on a big coaster, big popular coaster. Realistically, you're not going to get a massive queue for a Helter Skelter. So yeah, just create these little kind of implied machines. If you want stuff like this, and I haven't done it because I'm really rubbish at doing this sort of thing, shout at me in the comments and I'll put it up on the workshop. Playing around with the rocks, so really just kind of trying to get some of the theming in. Obviously, as I said, it's an alpine based park, so it's in the taiga biome, so I just wanted to kind of get some of that in. Actually, these aquatic rocks really good for sort of faux rock set, because obviously they come in that really quite bold purple colour, but if you play around with the colours and knock them back to a real sort of grey, then they end up looking quite good, in terms of sort of faux rocks. You'll have to let me know what you think by the time you see this at the end. And as long as you hide the little bits of coral and stuff, then I think it all kind of works okay. Also, a little trick for I think I've seen a few people saying about not being able to have the colour persist. So if you put an object down and then you change the colour of that object, the next one doesn't persist with that colour. So what I did there was just pick all the rocks out that I thought I was going to use, select them as a group, change all their colour, and then just copy and paste them. So yeah, rather than having to go back and manually one by one change the colour. And I think they are fixing that, so that will be coming soon. I think in the little quality of life pack or update that they announced recently. So next little bit of detail is, again, in that vein of what are the things that I think are missing, and again, tell me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But last time I went to a theme park, there was definitely like season pass or kind of membership, that concept. So ticket, like tickets that you pay for a whole season and you come back as many times as you like. So that's what this is, and I think if I remember rightly, if I remember to put it in the to show it, I'll show at the end of at some point in the video what this was based on. If you are one of those like super enthusiastic people about theme parks and not zoos, theme parks and resorts and those sorts of things, you might recognise this and put this in the comments before I get to that section of the video. That would be quite cool to see if people recognise it. It's not like a major feature. It's one of those little obsessive Tove details. But yeah, this is going to end up being a little kind of membership booth. So the idea being, this is where you go and you buy your season pass or whatever. So use the combination. Actually, that concrete sort of effect that I've got for the wall there is one of the like resort balcony pieces. It's really good. It's got this nice sort of curved edge. So I think I'm going to use that quite a lot. And I've used one of the I think is probably becoming the new the new angry archer, or the archer from the original Planet Coaster 2. The sort of statues, the stone statues inside, to give you your sort of scale reference and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty simple. It's got like a little hatchway, and then this is a little kind of shutter, implied shutter, obviously, that is going to open and close. Well, obviously it doesn't open and close, but yeah, you get the point. And then a little door on the outside. And these, I actually didn't realise this until I did it, but I didn't notice the first time I placed this down, is that door panel has a little little bit on it that's like for a sign to go on there, which is really cool. Like, so Francis is so good at that sort of stuff. So like you've got the front and the back of the door are slightly different designs, which is really cool because like it's making those like minimize the piece count but give you more kind of adaptability. So I've used one of the tile roofs in this one, and then just trying to mess around with this. So it's completely custom walls. There's nothing in this build apart from the roof that's gridded. So yeah, just trying to stitch it all together, giving it some more of the sort of support structure. So some of these beams going in. Again, this little bit. It's one of those things actually. When you first start playing Planet Coaster 2, because none of us are used to the scale option. On the surface, you look at stuff sometimes and you're like, is that the only one? There's like one of those things, or like there's limited options for those things. But see, because you can scale stuff, you end up with like really pretty unlimited options here. So like in Planet Zoo, we'd have been looking for like different widths and sizes of beams, and in here you've pretty much just got like one or two, but it really works because you can scale the width and you can scale the size of the whole thing however much you like. I wonder if they ever, I was thinking about this the other day, I wonder if they ever considered obviously it's like a proportional scaling. I wonder if they ever considered disproportionate scaling, so like you could scale the length rather than scaling the width, because actually that would have reduced the piece count even further. So yeah, I created one of these that's open and then one of them that's closed, sort of join them together. They're sort of filling this side of this little mini plaza. Someone mentioned in the comments the other day that I needed a plaza. Again, I'm not super clear on the some of the rules of theme parks and things. So I guess that's like a general guest flow thing. So yeah, hopefully I kind of end up ticking that box. If that person is watching again in this video, then let me know if I've ticked that box. Not with this first section, but by the end of this episode, hopefully we've got more of a sort of plaza. And I think there's going to be I think what we're going to end up with is a bit of a sort of I think it's like a spoke design sort of. So you've got like a central hub and then different routes into the park off of that. So we don't get to that in this episode, but we've got a bit of a plaza, first kind of couple of plazas going on. This is obviously completely pointless, obsessive detail. Again, this is the stuff that I absolutely love doing. It's not necessarily the stuff that gets the clicks, but yeah, it's something I love doing. So we're making a little like, again, like just exploring the pieces is absolutely my favourite thing of the game, and the scale tool gives you so many more options. So we thought, well, let me create a little desk set. This was quite difficult to do in something like Planet Zoo because the options for sizes of pieces were really tricky. So I think this ends up turning out quite well. I will put this on the workshop. It's quite a lot of pieces, I have to say already, but not too bad. Next one, I don't think we spend too long on this, but this is a bit of a gesture of a detail. I've actually got my light on in the game for some reason. I don't remember why I was doing that, but I think it was just a little bit dark. So just quickly put up this what's going to be a locker building. So using the lockers off the workshop, if I remember, I will put a little overlay here with the person's name and where you can get that these lockers from. But yeah, just put a building in. I placed the lockers down. I saw Mineral doing this. I've seen Geekism using this same piece. They're like really great. I did a bit of fiddling around with it just to change the handles and change the colour, and I ended up changing the sort of logo on it and stuff just to maybe soften it off a little bit. Like it felt like the handles were a little bit bulky, and I Wait, I don't know why, but I decided I didn't like it being called Lock Tech, and I wanted to change this to a little bit of a logo. Here is a little trick coming up. If you haven't thought about the fact that you can do this yet, this is potential whole world of insanity coming right here. So just by using a font piece, so paste a piece of text down, and you place like a full stop or an L in that case, and that allows you to basically draw as much as you like. So we are now placing the Helter Skelter in. As I said, this is not a big ticket item. This is not one of those things that I'm expecting people to see the title of this video and go, wow, look, Toby's placed down a Helter Skelter. That's really exciting. But I kind of wanted older, more traditional things in this first point. And as I said, I'm a little bit scared about putting coasters in. Yeah, but I will get there. So we have this little come through the gates, come down a little slope, basically because I wanted there to be a real kind of visual impact from you seeing that welcome sign, and then you've got the Helter Skelter on one side, and then you'll have different things on the other side as we go further into this series. So I kept it pretty simple. You've got like a little slope down either side. You've got the Helter Skelter in front of you. I turned the Helter Skelter round so it's pointing towards the incoming guests, so you can see people coming down the slide. Put a few trees in here and there, and we all will see all of this and some more details when we do a little bit of a kind of walk around at the end. I didn't realise you could do this at first, but this is really handy to know. You can turn the barriers off on the pads of the rides. Obviously, you can't, unfortunately, remove the barriers there, which I really don't fit to my theme, but hey ho, I've got to accept them. Same as the ticket entrance barriers, I guess. They just don't really fit to the design that I want to use, but it's okay. We'll just accept that. But yeah, being able to replace that barrier means I can put my own one in, so just to add a little bit more rustic vibes to the whole thing. I wanted to simplify the colours quite a lot. I don't want it to be quite so garish as the original design, so it gets quite muted back, this, to be honest. So I'll do a little bit of customization to it, which you'll see when we get to that stage. Some nice options, and I did just tiny little bits of extra detail that I wanted to add, just soften it off, add a little bit more rusticiness to it. And then we're just adding a little bit more detail in the foliage in, and some softening all these edges up, so it all just kind of gets framed a bit more. These little sort of box hedge pieces are my new favourite piece for sort of ground coverage, and some of the arrow wood and stuff like that. It's not the foliage is not as good in Planet Coaster 2 as at Planet Zoo, but that's fair enough. I'd expect that to be the case. Little bit of scenery brush going on, but not too much. I'm going to try and use this sparingly because I don't think it actually is that great for like snapping to the ground and things. You tend to end up with loads of stuff floating even if you have that option set. Okay, so starting back here because I have made some more changes to this. So we've got a few little bits and pieces. We've got some new lights that you're going to see used all over the place. We have got some new bin covers here, custom bin covers that I made, just with a little Pomola word mark on them. Changed all these barriers out actually because I felt like the ribbon ones just didn't look that great. And I felt like this would be something that would be more static. So what we have got here is, this is the normal route for non-ticket holders. I have sort of implied that these central ones would open just in case a vehicle needed to get through or anything. We'll go round. I just did a bunch of new lighting and stuff in here. Again, I'll show you. We'll do a little night tour at some point when we've got a bit further into it, I think. So let's go a bit further on, and then we've got that little fast pass section. Actually, this probably needs a sign over it. They're pretty simple, just a little sort of applied screen, little slot for your card to go in or whatever. Actually probably needs a bit more detail, doesn't it, that, and like a little keypad. And again, these are built out of pretty much that shape is built out of one of the sign pieces. I moved the strollers, so previously the strollers were here, and I've moved them into this little section over here now, just in this little sort of shaded pergola thing where you're getting that, really getting the impact of those. The new lighting system is just really good. I think I might, when we get glass, I might add in a dormer or something in here just to get a bit more interesting natural light going in. So we'll go. So this is the view you get presented with as you come through. So as I said, you've got that kind of immediate impact of the sort of welcome and visually your eyes being drawn into the park. I think the mountains in the background look really great as well. So all of that's really framed nicely. And then at some point, obviously, we'll have coaster in that view, and we'll have some other bits. I've got an idea in the works at the moment, which I'm really excited to share with you guys. We'll go to the right here, past all the people duping about. And so this is my little memberships office. As I said, it's got a little bit of a sort of basic detailing inside. So I made this little card reader. As I said, the chair's in there. I pulled the chair out so you can see it properly, because it's like you can't really did all that detail, you can't see half of it. Little bits and pieces going on in there. So there's my chair. It's actually really pleased with it. I'm sitting on a chair that actually looks very similar to that, so was quite handy to have a reference literally under my bum. So I looked down constantly and was like, oh yeah, there's a little thing that kind of wraps the wheels and that sort of stuff. We've got those little kind of implied. Again, this is all just like visual framing stuff, I guess. And then over this side, we have got our little locker section. So this is not the main. This is basically for like leaving stuff before you go into the park. So this is not like for changing or anything. So it's all open. It's all. Again, I think I probably will have glass back there at some stage. Some little seating, and certainly I didn't nick this idea from Mineral for this piece. I can't remember what that is now. It's the mount piece, isn't it? It's the like screen mount piece, and you can scale it up, and it works really good for a little bench in there. Put some sort of drains in and that sort of thing, and just a little bit of like scenery brush in the background. As I said, I think I probably will fill that in with glass. It's not somewhere that people are getting changed or anything. So then we go through the actual barrier. So you can see we've got the welcome message, and this is just a little simple cover. I've done a little bit of detailing to frame it out inside, and then we just a look at my little turnstiles. You've got, as I said, you kind of push one of those. So I guess the idea would be when the park is shut, that the entrance barriers are shut, and therefore you can only go through the turnstiles. I think that makes sense. I don't know if these are supposed to be. I've always thought, looking at these, it's supposed to be that you tap your ticket on the top there, and then the glass barrier opens or something. I guess that's what it's supposed to be doing. Not sure. So then we come through. So if we come through the centre, get this view. I've got a sort of start of a fountain. This episode was already getting quite long, so I cut that short, stopped building that. Going to be a bit of a fountain in the middle. You've got the path kind of coming down either side on a slope, or you can walk down the steps. No one appears to be on my Helter Skelter. Obviously, there's a bit of a thing at the moment. Hang on, let's see if one person comes. Oh, no, there you go. Look, one person's coming round. Yeah, I didn't actually realise, because I've never played Planet Coaster 1 before, so I'm not familiar with these rides particularly, but they literally just go one person goes at a time. So, like, the queue, I mean, it's not a big queue, but surely the next person could be walking up the steps by now, but hey ho, that's how it works. Oh, and then he just disappears. And if I'd also thought about how long they take to walk around, I maybe would have just put the exit like coming out here somewhere, but I don't know. It's fine. And then I think there's going to be a bit of a main street going on down there, but not totally sure. And then the last bit to show you is a little bit of detailing down in this section. And then we've got the little cover. Just seen Chat actually recorded a video about how to make these straight. So I might go back and straighten this little bit in the calc pen. thank you very much for watching. Yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you've got any ideas for what you think would be cool to do as a first coaster, fitting in the theme, then do let me know. And I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.